So when we talk about the Father, and we sing about the Father, I'm somebody that didn't have a father. I was immaculately conceived. At least I think so, because the male figures there I didn't relate much to, but you know what I did relate to is how in nature and in the animal kingdom and in life there's a presence of truth, a presence of knowledge, of wisdom. And, we talk often about Divine Mother because she creates space, but without Father, the idea of truth, the idea of standing with conviction, the idea of not giving up, that's all the idea is of Father. It's like Moses' son. When he hits the staff, and what happens?
The seas part.
The seas part. And that's a metaphor, at least in my case, it's a metaphor for what it takes to move a mountain, to part the seas, is an incredible congruency with the idea of Father. And since I didn't have a role model for a father, then I had to find Father, the only Father, through God. Anybody else have that experience? A few of us here? So it's really an interesting day for me because I have always had such great love and respect for the men in my life. Not necessarily my mom's choices of men, but and she knows that. But certainly every man I've met that I love with so much of my heart. And the way that we're really created to work together, the ideas of mother, father, working as a team. And within us also, many great teachers have said, inside of us we have mother, father power within us. We access the mother when we need it. And then when we need to be hugged, and we need to be protected, and we need somebody to truly stand for us, that's when we access the Father, right? And it's something that I just sort of absorbed in my life. And when I would be around men, I would feel the power in them, like I feel the power in the men in this room. There is a core strength that each of you has that I get to lean on and know that when I am not able to get there, I can either access the Father in my friends, the Father in my partner, or I can access the Father in the men in my life, or I can access the Father in God in life. It's a beautiful idea, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And it's something that I learned from Paramahansa Yogananda. And it's really a beautiful, I know we've done a lot of reading today, but I just want to read this one little part. This is from Science of Mind. And it's because we are honoring all the men in the world, and we are honoring the masculine and all the women in the world. And this is called, In My Father's House Are
Many Mansions.
Let's hear it. Now that can have a lot of meanings, can't it? It can be perceived in many different ways. And like I always say, anything I say isn't necessarily real, right, and true for you. But it is turned out to be real, right, and true for me. In this from Dr. Ernest Holmes, he says, In my Father's house are many mansions. This world, with all its wonders, is not the only one that we shall inhabit. Did you catch that? There's an idea there that there's more going on than this one planet, this one universe. And what have we discovered recently? That there is indeed other universes. There are many others, and we shall inhabit each in time. If this life were the only life, Jesus would have told it so. He held out no false promises. He never deceived. He spoke only the truth. And I would say as he believed it. He said, I go to prepare a place for you. What more beautiful thought than those who go before shall be there when we arrive? So for those of you that are missing your physical fathers, they're right express their life through you. You celebrate them through you. He says there is no doubt, only an expansion of the soul, an enlargement of the experience. But Thomas, who was a disciple, said that he did not know where Jesus was going, nor did he know the way. You remember what they said, what they called Thomas? Doubting Thomas. How many of us doubt ourselves, others? Jesus responded to Thomas and said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Again, he is referring to the individual giant I. The Son of the eternal I am. Say it, I am.
I am.
Can you feel it? Feel it. I am. Say it again.
I am.
You're accessing that now. The Son is the way to the Father. We approach reality through our own natures and through no other source, which means we are unique. Each of us unique and special in our own way. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. God is within, and it is here that we meet God. An inward gaze can reveal the Father. Did you know that Ernest Holmes and Paramahansa Yogananda hung out together? Can't you hear it in this? Thank you. That was beautiful. Really, really beautiful. So, interesting, quick story. We try to make it quick. I've really been on this thing, my curriculum. I believe my curriculum, and those of you that have done seminars know what I mean, and those of you that haven't done them, essentially what I'm saying is my little soul came to this earth school to learn something about itself that is greater than it knew. Does that make sense? So as I came into this world, I believe that I made the very unfortunate choice of choosing trust to master. Now, when one needs to master trust, what kind of earth school classes are likely to come up?
Betrayal.
Betrayal. Man. Woo! If it wasn't for the Father, I couldn't have gotten through it. Because you see, when we come here with our curriculum, we are given everything we need to get through it. And so, what else? What else happens? What else besides betrayal? What other classes come up if the little soul wants to become a master of trust? Loss?
A lot of stepping into the not knowing.
Oh my God, it's like, uh-oh, right? Stepping in, the willingness, like we were talking about Dean and really everybody in the band. I ask everybody in the band to stretch and to go into unknown territories, and they're happy to do it because they know. It makes them better. Makes us better. And so in this idea of the Earth School, and I came to master trust, I've had some incredible experiences in the law of attraction. Who knows the law of attraction? Okay, so the law of attraction has many parts and levels to it. The movie, The Secret, was great, but they left out lots of secrets. A whole bunch. And I think they did it on purpose. You know why? To get us to go find it. Right? And so the way I've had to master trust is I come from a curriculum where I was given very little and was told to figure it out, and I had a full-time job by the time I was 11 years old. Because I was told, if you need something, go work for it. Now, at the time, I didn't care much for that. But you know what? It made me really good at certain things, and it made me learn trust, didn't it? Wouldn't you? Here you are, really little, and you're going around the neighborhood trying to create a business. My business was Kim's Canine Service. And I had a little Honda 50. You know, the sound. And so I'd go to people's homes and I'd train their dogs. But here's what's really funny about stepping into the unknown. I didn't know how to train dogs. I loved dogs. I love animals. Animals, for me, are angels. They're extensions of myself. And so I end up going to this house that's way up on a hill with 3 German short hairs. Oh my God. And I go up there and it turns out to be Don Trenner, who is a music arranger for Bette Midler and Shirley MacLaine. And I get up there, and these kinds of things, you guys, for those that know me, you know these things happen to me all the time. I end up in these places, but why do I? Up that hill. Up the hill. And I'm like, hey, hi, Kim's Canine Service. And I look at the dogs, and I'm like, okay, look, got them to love me. And here's the thing. It worked. I trained them. Couldn't train my own dog, but I trained them. So recently, well, let me go back 10 years. 10 years ago, my wife Karen and I were living in an apartment. We had about $200 in our bank, and we didn't want to live there anymore. And we wanted to live in a big, beautiful home, and we wanted to make an ashram out of it. And we had no idea how we were going to pull this off. So one really rainy day, which I love rainy days. Something good happens to me always on rainy days. This rainy day, we're like mind molding. We want it to be this big, beautiful home that has a giant backyard and forests and deer, and we're going to make it wonderful. And we drive up this steep driveway, but instead of 150, we're in a car. We get up to the driveway, and the landlord looks at us, and she says, I want you guys to rent this house, because we had to rent a house. And she had like, I don't remember, 20, 30 people that wanted the house. Because, you know, if you've seen our house, you'd see why. So we looked at her and we said, we'll take good care of your home. And then we looked at each other and we went, uh-oh, how are we going to pay for this? We didn't have the money. Lo and behold, because of our trust and our faith, and we didn't know the how, we just were like, God, Father, protect us, guide us, provide for us, make this happen, because we're clueless. And you know what happened? This woman turned out to be an angel. And she looked at us and she said, she told us what she wanted, and we went, well, we don't quite have that much money. She said, don't worry about it. She said, give me $600 and we're good. Wow. And we lived in that home, excuse me, I'm going to get some water. We lived in that home for 10 years. And I got very, very, very attached to the home. Lesson, Earth School. I got very attached to the home, as did my wife. And so what I did is I spent 10 years psychically, meditation, prayer, through the Father, calling birds that were never there before by putting feeders in houses, and we became a certified backyard habitat. No chemicals, water fountains, all the plants were to feed the birds. And and we had about 12 hummingbird feeders around the house. And within each year, the birds would come earlier and there'd be new species. And I was blessed. We were blessed. Because we have all glass. This is a beautiful home we're leaving here. It's all glass. And we just look out at all this beauty. And I'm like, oh, what's that bird? We became birders. You know what a birder is? Yeah. I'm a bird. Yeah, right on. So I in the snow, in the rain, when I was exhausted and could barely walk or talk after a 5-day seminar, I'm up in the morning filling the feeders, washing the hummingbird feeders, tending to Divine Mother, essentially. And so now we have the most incredible place in the backyard with the most beautiful animals. Yeah. Saw 2 birds yesterday I've never seen before. And we get a notice from the landlord, you need to move out. Can you imagine my heart? I have loved these birds and these animals so much. And it was my way of thanking God. And now I have to let go. Now I have to go, well, no one else is crazy enough like me that's going to be out there feeding these birds in the snow and the rain. Most people are going to go feed yourself and take care of themselves, right? And so I have been going through this thing because what happened is each year the birds came, they bred, they had the babies, they'd leave and come back year after year knowing they were provided for. Where is my Father now? Because now I have to trust that when I remove all the feeders, if the landlord won't let me, I'm going to try to bribe her and tell her to leave them up, and I'll even give her all the food and everything she needs. But there's no guarantee. So Reverend Karen and I thought, oh my God, we have to leave our ashram and all this work. Where are we going to go? And we both said, it's time to be close to Casa. It's time for us to be here 5 days all the time and get this place organized and do it the best job we can and be close by. We get a phone call from Joanne Mitchell. It's Joanne. Are you in the house, hon? There's Joanne, Michael back there. How you feeling, Michael? We sent you so much love. You're on the altar, so I know you're
here,
getting
so
it.
it's a testament to all those prayers.
So Joanne calls and Michael calls and they go, you gotta come see this house. It's got a Swami in it. And I think there's Ananda people here. And I think there's people that know you here. And we went, here we go. And we drove down, we met them, and sure enough, there's a couple of people that knew me, and they wanted us right away, and they wanted us to take the house. But here comes the best part. So we thought that was the house. And then we look on what it's called, Zillow, whatever that thing is, for a house. And we see this really beautiful house in Fair Oaks. We go to it. We walk in the door. This is all about father and trust, you guys. The law of attraction. We walk in the door and I look at the realtor guy and I go, I know these people. He goes, you do? And I said, I know them. He said, what's their name? I don't know their name, but I know them. He said, well, that's fine, whatever. We start walking around the house and we go outside and there's a pond and Kuan Yin and koi in the pond. And we start looking in the rooms and Brenda Bowles, one of the greatest artists in Spiritual Life Center, decorated part of the house. And we're walking around and we're seeing Buddha and Krishna. And I'm like, I know these people. Then we go into the garage and Karen's like, honey, get out of the garage. And I'm like, I gotta go find out who these people are. No, don't do that, don't you do that. I'm going. I go into the garage because why? I go into the garage and there's all these boxes and guess what it says on the boxes? SLC. And I go, honey, Spiritual Life Center. I knew it. She said, call Louise. Louise, these are just the assistant over there. Good friends. She said, call Louise and tell her to find out who is in this house. So I call Louise and within 5 minutes, we had the name of the owners. We call the owners and we find out, you know those SLC boxes? It was Salt Lake City, man. It's a joke between me and Mikey, I'll tell it later, but I was like, Mikey, again, SLC. But here's the cool part. They were big time SLC people, Spiritual Life Center people, Unity people. And so we go and we call the owners and I tell her who I am and she goes, Dr. Kim Flaherty? I said, yeah. She goes, oh my God, you guys want to rent our house? I said, yeah. She goes, oh, but there's a whole bunch of people that want it. And I said, well, let me send you some pictures of our backyard. We sent them pictures of our ashram, which includes your beautiful maple that Jacob gave us a maple tree that is so gorgeous. And so we took pictures, and there's Buddha and Yogananda and all the saints and sages. And we send the pictures to the owners, and they're like, we're giving you this house. But the realtor people, they don't want her to do that. They want to pick who goes in the house. And they wanted to put a family in the house, not us. And so the owner of the house, Bev and Kevin, when we go over there, not only is it the most beautiful ashram-like house ready to go, they gave us an Irish concert on a dulcimer. And I'm not lying. I couldn't make this up, you guys. And Bev says to us, well, I love you, we are the best friends. I'm going to call the realtor and get them to say yes to you. And it was 2 days ago? They called and said, it's yours. Now, I share this with you this with you to impress upon you that the law of attraction is based on trust and faith. You can do all the vision boards in the world, and we did. We had a vision board for the house. It's not like we do them. But what turned the corner? What got us into the house? What was it?
Trust.
What would happen if we had just if I walked out the door and like, honey, I just know those people. And she said, let's just go home. What would have happened? Wouldn't have gotten it. They had already decided they were giving it to a family. But because I felt the Father in me, get into that garage and find out that Salt Lake City is not really Salt Lake City. That, to me, it was Spiritual Life Center. And then to push it even more and call Louise and get her to find out who it is. And then have Brenda Bowles and Avenel and all my SLC friends call Bev and Kevin, inundate them with, give Dr. Kim and Reverend Karen the house. It is the Father that did it. When you see me, you see the Father. The Father is the faith. The Father is the trust. It is the ability not to stay in limitation and just accept what comes up. Forget it. I want a wonderful life. What about you? Say, I want a wonderful life. I'm going to make a wonderful life. Because the Father is in me. And I'm not kidding. Is there something wrong with our air conditioners? Because it's hot. Are you guys hot? Can we get both air conditioners going, please? So the idea is, for here to the Father, to respect the Father, we got to know that the men in our life are so very important. Very important. The men in our life, if you can feel them, can you feel them? When you are close to a beautiful, fantastic man, if you are open, like Divine Mother, then you will receive the Father. And when that happens, the Father and I, the Father and you become one. I love men so much because the guys in my life, they play the role of the Father for me now. I respect each and every one of them, no matter what. And we have a really special, something we want to do because I have this love affair with men because of this incredible Father in them. I feel it so strongly. And the men in our lives, we do not respect them enough. We do not give them what they need very much of the time. We just sort of go along. There's the guy, there's the girl, we go through life. But you see, the men have a special gift for us. The men in our life lead through the idea of providing and protecting and making the way. Remember what I said? Parting the seas. And when we trust our fathers in our men, when we can feel how powerful they are and see them for who they are and put them on a pedestal and say, you are the Father, and when I see you, I see the Father. Behaviors are different. That has nothing to do with it. You're born this way. I believe men have just a little bit more of the Father in them. And women have just a little bit more of Divine Mother in us. And when you put us together, you know what you get? Life. You get miracles. It's a dance. Dance with my Father. When he was singing that song, I was imagining just being out in the wilderness, just dancing with my Father. And when I am in the presence of the men in my life, I just want to dance with them. Be in that place of heart. See them for who they are. For without our men, we have nothing. And if our men do not become softer at heart and stronger at leadership, we will be lost. We need our men. And when the men stand in their leadership, then we women get to stand with them. And together we create miracles. Can we get the kids in here? Are they all in here? Let's get the kids in here. Find out if Jen wants the kids in here. We're going to do a ceremony for the men right now. Don't get scared there. Don't worry. Don't worry. Not yet. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask all the men if you would just simply stand up. Will you stand up? Stand up as who you are. You are the men in here, the fathers in here, whether you have children or not, whether you are married or not, whether you are young or old. Doesn't matter. You are the father. Within you, I have hope. I have faith. I have trust. I know that within you, I can come to you and talk to you and receive the guidance, and you will provide the way like you do provide the way. Every time, I'm asking all of us, all the women in the room, to really look at the men in your life and see them for who they are. See them not as a human. See them as the power that they are. And so I'm going to do a reading, and I'm going to ask all the women to repeat after me to all of our men. Repeat after me, please. This is so beautiful, Jacob. For all the fathers and the little fathers, all the men, right here. They want to just have them sit right here. They can do. Do we have any boys in here? There's 1, 2. Great. Just have a seat. And if you're a boy, would you remain standing, please? You can help them if you need to. Just remain standing if you're a boy. What a cute. Oh, look. The father, the father, the father. Yes? Would you repeat after me? To all of our fathers, all of the men that we so love, and in spiritual leadership, I need you guys. I need you guys to help us part the seas and bring love to this planet. I need you to help us to remind everyone that we're in this together, that we are a partnership, and that with you anything is possible. Here we go. Turn it down just a little bit, but I don't want to lose it. Just a little bit. Here we go. Let us praise our fathers.
Let us praise our fathers.
Who balance the life of work.
Who balance the life of work.
Who balance marriage.
Who balance marriage
And children.
and children.
And honest awareness. Of both joy and surrender. Let us praise the fathers. Who, lacking a good role model for a father, have worked to become a good father. This is to our men here. Let us praise those fathers. Who by their own account were not always there for their children, but who continue to offer their children their life, their support, and the best they can be. Let us pray for our fathers who may have been wounded in some way. Let us praise our fathers, whether divorced or married, that they remain in our children's life. Let us praise our fathers who adopt our children, who love and support and offer healing. Let us praise our fathers. As stepfathers, freely choose the obligation to be a father, to earn their children's love, to earn their children's respect. Let us praise our fathers. as if it was their own. Let us praise our fathers who have fathered us, who have mentored us, who have guided us, who are our loves. Let us praise our fathers. Let us praise our men who are about to become fathers. May they openly delight in all God's children. And let's praise our men who are the Father, who have made the transition, but live in our hearts, live in our minds, and live in our very breath. If you are willing, would everybody stand up and hug a man, please? Love one another as I have loved you. Love one another.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, baby.
The difference, right? Sorry.
Here we go.
So now as we move in, do you feel it?
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
feel this? This is all I want. I don't want anything but this, just love. I want love, I want respect. I want to know that we see each other. I want to know that we respect each other. And I want to know that even the men that did horrible things to me, that I know those men must have had horrible things done to them. And so I forgive them. And all that is left is the